You know exactly what they are doing to you. You have run the numbers, you have seen the pattern, and you opened your wallet anyway. This is not stupidity. It is not weakness. Something is happening inside your brain that makes paying someone who hurts you feel not just acceptable, but necessary. And it starts long before you ever meet them. Every year, millions of people continue paying for relationships, services, and situations that are actively making their lives worse. Therapists call it a trauma bond. Economists call it a sunk cost. But neither of those terms fully captures what is happening, because this is not one mechanism. It is several, firing at the same time, and they are almost impossible to fight when you do not know they exist. Let us start with the brain itself. When you experience a mix of reward and pain from the same source, your dopamine system does something counterintuitive. It does not turn off. It ramps up. Neuroscientists studying intermittent reinforcement found that unpredictable rewards trigger more dopamine release than reliable ones. The uncertainty does not kill the craving. The uncertainty is the craving. This is the same mechanism behind slot machines. You do not keep pulling the lever because you always win. You keep pulling it because you sometimes win. Your brain cannot let go of a variable reward schedule. And when a person treats you badly most of the time, but wonderfully some of the time, you are not in a relationship. You are sitting at a slot machine that occasionally tells you it loves you. Now add money into that equation. The moment you spend something significant on a person or situation, a second system activates, the sunk cost bias. Your brain physically resists writing off a past investment. Losing what you already spent feels more painful than gaining the same amount would feel good. So you keep paying, not to get something new, but to avoid admitting that what you already paid is gone. Here's the part most people never hear. These two systems do not just coexist. They amplify each other. The dopamine loop makes you emotionally attached to the source of pain. The sunk cost bias makes you financially committed to protecting that attachment. You are now trapped in a structure where leaving feels like losing on two fronts simultaneously. The person harming you has become, in your nervous system's language, an investment you cannot afford to abandon. But there is a third layer, and it is the one that goes deepest. Attachment theory tells us that many people who find themselves in these cycles learned very early in life that love and pain come from the same place. A caregiver who was sometimes nurturing and sometimes cruel does not teach a child that love is safe. It teaches them that love is something you have to keep earning, and that the withdrawal of it is always your fault. That child grows into an adult who interprets inconsistency as depth, who reads silence as a test, who believes that if they just give more, pay more, endure more, the person will finally stay. The relationship feels familiar not because it is healthy, but because it matches the original template. Your nervous system is not broken. It is following a map that was drawn before you were old enough to question it. There is also a social dimension that makes this harder to escape. When we pay someone, we publicly signal trust. When we continue paying, we signal that the trust was justified. Stopping means admitting to everyone, including yourself, that it was not. Psychologists call this self-consistency bias. We are wired to behave in ways that confirm the story we have already told about ourselves. Admitting you were deceived is not just painful. It threatens your identity. This is why people stay in bad business relationships long after the evidence is clear. It is why someone will pay a contractor who keeps failing to finish the job, or keeps sending money to someone who keeps disappearing. Stopping is not just a financial decision. It is a public reckoning with a version of yourself you built your life around. The brain will do almost anything to avoid that reckoning. And the people who exploit this know it, consciously or not. Love bombing at the start creates an intense early reward that your dopamine system memorizes as the baseline. Every withdrawal afterward is measured against that peak. The manufactured intimacy, the over-the-top generosity, the declarations that feel almost too good to be real, all of it is the first pull of the lever. Your brain stores it as proof of what is possible and spends the rest of the relationship chasing it. It is worth saying this plainly. The fact that you stayed and the fact that you kept paying does not mean you are gullible. The most intelligent, self-aware people in the world fall into these patterns. Research consistently shows that emotional intelligence does not protect you from this. In some cases, it makes it worse. People who are good at empathy are better at constructing reasons why the other person deserves one more chance. So what does actually help? The first thing is naming the mechanism out loud. Not to someone else, necessarily, but to yourself. When you feel the pull to pay again, to send the message, to give the benefit of the doubt one more time, say it internally. This is the variable reward loop. This is the sunk cost talking. This is not love. This is a system that was built inside me before I had any say in it. Naming it does not break it instantly, but it creates a gap. That gap is where recovery actually lives. Not in the dramatic decision to leave, which often reverses, but in the accumulating seconds between the trigger and the response. Every time you pause and name what is happening, you are building new neural pathways. You are slowly rewriting the map. It takes longer than anyone wants to hear, and it requires you to tolerate the discomfort of an open loop your brain is screaming to close. The money you already spent is gone. That part of the equation is closed whether you keep paying or not. The only variable still in play is what happens next. And the most important thing neuroscience has given us is this. The brain that built these patterns is the same brain capable of building new ones. The map is not the territory. The template is not the truth. You were taught to need what hurts you. You were not born to.